The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
What's up, Raider Nation? Silver and Black Attack coming at you again with another video. Rashawn and Jahan here. And today on the agenda, we got something really important. Davante Adams is super frustrated with the quarterback room, and his recent Instagram post today showed that he's an advocate for Jayden Daniels.
Yes, definitely. We've been hearing rumors of Jayden Daniels for the Raiders. There's some smoke there. It's starting to develop now. We've consistently hammered home the point that the top two quarterbacks are locked in, Caleb and Drake May. And, the 3 and 4 spot are in limbo right now. And it seems like with all the noise that's going on, Antonio Pierce and Telesco are looking to trade up. Now, the issue is getting that trade partner. It's probably going to be the Arizona Cardinals. That's the most likely destination. But Jayden Daniels, it looks like he's got the support from Davante Adams now. And it's like you mentioned, Adams is not happy with the quarterback room right now. We mentioned on a past video as well that he didn't call Gardner Minshew when he signed. So clearly he didn't support that signing. And obviously, I don't think he thinks that Aiden O'Connell is the quarterback of the future. So he agrees that we need to find our guy through the draft. And obviously, he is advocating for Jayden Daniels, who spent time in the Raiders locker room as well in week 18 after they beat the Broncos. So he has that connection, obviously, to Antonio Pierce. That's a given. So it seems like he wants Jayden Daniels. He can get him the ball. He's got a rocket arm, and he can also run and pose that threat to defenses. So he's got everything you want in a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, one other thing to note today, Brian Kelly, the LSU head coach, said that Washington is getting a great quarterback, mobile quarterback, versatile quarterback who can run and throw and complete passes that no one else can complete. And he specified Washington. And Washington, with the number 2 pick, could easily now go ahead and draft Jayden Daniels, which is not something that anyone is expecting. But if it's a lock, Jayden Daniels at number 2, I don't think there's any way Raiders can trade up to number 2. I think 3 or 4 is ideal, but like I said, 2 is looking like it's not really going to be possible. And if Brian Kelly just spilled the beans on that, I really don't know what we're gonna do here. Like then at that point, it's gonna be trying to trade up for like a Drake May or something. At that point, I think you're safe staying at 13, and Michael Penix might be an option around 13. Denver also could be trading up to number 4, to the top 4 picks and trying to make a move for a quarterback ahead of any of those other guys who are looking for a QB. We went over that in the mock draft. But that's looking more likely. The other thing is that Davante Adams, like you said, no communication with Gardner Minshew after Minshew signed. It's not like they've talked. It's not like it was not like a Davante and Carr situation, or like even a Davante and AOC or Jimmy G situation. When Jimmy G signed, it seemed like a few days after Jimmy G signed, they were already in the gym. They were already in the practice field making plays and throwing the ball around and trying to get to know each other. If he didn't even talk to Gardner Minshew or call, let alone, I don't think Gardner Minshew will be the one, throwing the rock around. The other thing is, many of you are so high on Aiden O'Connell, which is really something is just that's really impressed all like me and Jahan a lot this past, couple weeks. We've seen that your guys' support for Aiden O'Connell, we don't know where it really comes from, but I mean, if you guys think that that's the ride or die guy, I mean, go ahead. Like, you guys have your opinion, but we here at the Silver and Black Attack, you guys know our opinion on Aiden O'Connell and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, and it's not even just us at this point. Like we're starting to see guys like Davante Adams advocate for Daniels. And I think partly it's because Aiden O'Connell isn't mobile. The quarterbacks that Davante's seen had success is obviously Aaron Rodgers, and he's seeing Jordan Love in Green Bay have success now. And both those guys can extend plays. They're mobile quarterbacks. They can, when the play breaks down, they can always extend the play. And Aiden O'Connell like simply cannot do that. He won't be able to develop that. He just doesn't have that talent, and that's not an innate ability within Aiden O'Connell. He's not going to be a runner. He's not going to be mobile. So he can't do that. And I think Davante knows that. And that's why, and even Antonio Pierce, he's kind of conflicting his statements because I remember on a podcast, he said the worst possible scenario for the quarterback position is if we run it back with O'Connell. So I don't think he wants O'Connell, even though he's saying all the right things about him. He literally said, "Oh yeah, worst case, we have a guy who went 5-4." So it's not like that's not a flying endorsement, on Aiden O'Connell from Antonio Pierce. And obviously Davante doesn't want O'Connell to run it back. So he wants a young guy. He wants Jayden Daniels. And I mean, you said that he might go at number two, and I think it's possible, but I do think the Brian Kelly thing, I think it could be a smokescreen on his part because he's trying to get his guy the most money because the number two pick versus the number three pick. The number two pick makes more money. So I think he wants to see him in Washington, D.C. I don't know if that's like a surefire thing that they're going to pick him because, I saw Drake May was dapping up Adam Peters at his pro day. So there's a bunch of smokescreen rumors going on right now. But yeah, we're going to see Raider Nation. Hopefully, Jayden Daniels gets outside the top two picks because at 3 and 4, both those GMs have said we're interested in trading down. So there's a chance if he slides out of the top two, we have a chance to get Jayden Daniels. That's a fact. It's not set in stone that he's going to be drafted. But yeah, Raider Nation, we really want Jayden Daniels.
One more thing. Dan Graziano of ESPN also reported today that the Raiders and the Vikings both are desperately trying to trade up into the top three. And Antonio Pierce has made it clear that, he scouted Jayden Daniels. He got Jayden Daniels to ASU. Like, he was a part of that recruiting team. And he said initially, I'm not going to be like, I want to get it done. But he's like, when we're in this position, you got to look at everything. You want to win now. You want to put the best pieces together now. So you got to look at it all in one, perspective that we got to make a move and we got to get up there and we got to take our guy. So if Dan Graziano's report is correct, the Raiders are aggressively trying, and even Raiders scout today I saw on his story that Raiders are they're desperate now to try to move up into the top three. And I think now that they've realized, like in free agency, okay, they dropped the ball there kind of. Besides Christian Wilkins, they really dropped the ball in free agency. Who else did they sign? I mean, they didn't really sign anyone. Gardner Minshew is a backup quarterback at best. And the couple re-signs of the couple defensive tackles were good, but we got no corner, one. We brought in no depth on the offensive side of the ball, on the line, nothing. No depth, nothing. So it's going to be another Telesco draft heavy type of, off season, essentially preparing for OTAs and everything. The draft is going to be really important. And trading up into the top three, I think it's now or never for the Raiders. If you don't get one of these guys now and you run out with Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, it's going to be really tough for us. And saying this as a Raiders fan for the last 18 to 20 years, it's going to be really, really, really tough to now go one more year into it, like a Jimmy G situation last year, trying to put it together with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew coming off the bench maybe to relieve him halfway through the game when we're down like 31-0. It's going to be a tough road again, to win. Okay, go back and win 8 games again. What do you get out of that? You get nothing out of winning 8 games. Winning 8 games is just a standstill, a stalemate. Nothing happens. You get a mediocre draft pick again. You don't have the potential to draft a superstar at 13th pick. And it's just a everlasting effect. It just keeps going. It's just like a triangle effect. It's like you're here, then you're 8, 9, then you're back here. It's like just goes like this, like literally. And I just don't understand it.
Exactly. We'd be in QB purgatory is what they like to call it. But yeah, Raider Nation, we want Jayden Daniels. And I think, like you mentioned, the Graziano report, we're trying to trade up. And I don't think we would be interested in trading up if Jayden Daniels wasn't going to be available. So if they're eyeing the number three pick, I think that they know he's going to be available at number three. So there's always a chance, Raider Nation, despite what the mock draft in the national media says, we have a chance at Jayden Daniels, our guy. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, that players are advocating for it now. There's more smoke. There's some substance there with us getting our guy Jayden Daniels. But yeah, Raider Nation, we're going to have you covered through all of it. Mock draft season, the end of free agency, every single move the Raiders make. We're going to have you guys covered on the Silver and Black Attack. And Jahan and Rashawn signing off.